Hi, it's Scott, ROCKFILE, back with another podcast. This will be a part 2 to my How to Fix Radio. This is the why I think my ideas will work. We're reaching a point in society where people are going to want things that are real. And what do I mean by that? With the rise of AI, with the fact that we can create pictures or videos or music from scratch or change it to be anything, put somebody else's face on it. This idea also came to me while I was watching The Fall Guy the other night, because they were going to put somebody's face on the, the actor's face on the stunt guy kind of thing. And I was like, we can pretty much do that with anything. There's been a lot of talk of AI replacing musicians, AI replacing voiceover guys like me and radio people and things like that. But there's one thing that AI will never be able to do, at least not in the foreseeable future, is be human, be unpredictable, be interesting. It's hard to teach a computer that. They can simulate what it sounds like, what a guitar sounds like, what a human sounds like, but it's a simulation. So much like music in the 80s that got overproduced and too slick where it didn't even sound like humans anymore, we bounced back. To use music as the analogy, Pearl Jam and Metallica happened. That was the response to A Flock of Seagulls, Thompson Twins, and all the other bands, and big artists who were going that 80s slick sound. 1989 was a great year for music, and it was a terrible year for music because some of that music, great music, recorded very badly. So it fit the sound of electronic drums and drenched in reverb, and it was just awful. The response was grunge and metal became huge because they were real. They didn't drench things in anything. It was guitars and voices and growls and screaming, and it was real. And I think we're getting back to that. Ever since Cher's Believe introduced auto-tune to studio artists everywhere and people started using it as an actual tool for their music, auto-tune was created to fix some things. One producer used it to smear her vocals around for an artistic effect for one song. Now you've got Drake and other artists who have made their entire career out of sounding like a robo-computer. Because whatever they sing, they can just put in the computer and they can pitch shift it and they can correct it and they can quantize it and they can lock it into the beat, and you will never know the difference, but it's not real. And I say you won't know the difference. I think you do know the difference. I think when you hear a really great singer hit that high note and you can see the sweat on their brow and it's killing them to do it, but they nail it and they get done, and the smile that comes across their face is something that a computer will never give you. When you go and see a live band and they're giving it and they're sweating and they're giving you their all, 150%, and they get off stage and they're exhausted and you're exhausted from the show, that doesn't come from watching a guy with a turntable. That doesn't come from watching a computer sit on a stage with a synchronized light show. Sure, there are acts out there that can dance up a storm, and that's great, but have you been at a rock concert when they've played your favorite song and it's everybody's favorite song, and that rush from 15, 20, 50? I've been in a stadium with 70,000 people and that one song comes on and everybody is into it. It's a thing. You feel it. So people are going to want something real. And that's where radio comes in. It is very simple for radio stations to go into the studio, open up a microphone like this, and start talking. Start doing something interesting. Start telling you a story about something that happened to me on the way into the studio tonight. That is more interesting than hearing somebody from another market tell you about a generic story they read on show prep that everybody else is going to talk about on every other radio station on the planet. I might have seen a moose on my way in, or a bald eagle, or, dip netters pulling over to take pictures of caribou and almost causing accidents. These are things you're not going to get on any other radio station. Why do people want that? Well, because look at TikTok, look at Instagram, and look at Facebook. They're gravitating towards these people that are showing everything, warts and all, their life, their stuff, because it's more real than the influencers and some of the other stuff we were getting for the last few years. The trend to go back to the real has already started. People are starting to collect vinyl. Vinyl and CD is coming back. People want to own things. People want real things. We got into streaming. We got into not owning things, and that's become kind of an empty thing. Everything's disposable. People rushed out to see the Deadpool and Wolverine movie because they created something interesting, something special, and it became that thing you had to go see because everybody else was going to see it. Granted, I'm a fan, so I was there opening day, but I mean, the general public had to make this a big hit. This is not the fans just doing this. Because it's a real thing. Is it owned by Disney and all corporate? Yes. But at the core of it, you got 3 guys. You got 2 stars and a director who really wanted to make this work. And they put all the blood, sweat, and tears that they could into a corporate environment to create a piece of art that is resonating with the human race. And it's going to make $1 billion in a very short period of time. The same thing with radio. Why I produced a long podcast on how to fix radio, be live and local, because that is compelling. For an example, nothing against Race, my night guy. He was an intern. And now he is the night guy on my rock station. He has not had a whole lot of training. He listens to us. He takes direction from me, but I kind of let him do his thing. He's not the perfect jock. He will go off on, say, Pokemon for 2 minutes or something like that. But as I explained to my boss the other day, people, that has a 30 share at night. And yes, part of it's the programming. We do some great rock shows at night, play some great music at night, but also because we have a real dude in there that sounds like he's sometimes having a hard time or talking about his favorite stuff, knowing that you're not getting it. And he's trying real hard, and he's a real human being. And that's why people listen to him. It may not be the most compelling, best radio disc jockey stuff you've ever heard, but you'll never hear anything like that anywhere else or again. And some of the things we say are here and gone. That's another thing about radio. It's a spontaneous thing. It's not recorded like a podcast. I record these as live. I don't remember what I said at the beginning other than, the rough estimate of how I started this. And so this is all kind of a live thing. It's recording out in front of me. We are 7 minutes and 8 seconds into it, and here it goes. And I don't know what I'm going to say to the next thing. I don't have a script in front of me. I don't even have an outline for this one. I wanted to tell you why I think getting back to the real in all things. I have friends that are experimenting with AI pictures, and they're having a lot of fun with it. And I do think being able to tell an AI what to do and using it in work ways as a tool is still going to be a thing. But I think when it comes to art, to things that people enjoy outside of work environment, I think we're going to go back to the real. Seeing real musicians, artists do their thing, that kind of thing, listening to the radio and hearing somebody screw up. I could re-record these podcasts and fix things, take out my ums and my breaths. My podcasting service offers an AI that will do it for me. I leave all that stuff in. This is me talking. This is real. These podcasts are recorded live. I think you like that. I think that's why people listen to it. I don't know. I hope. Because this is performance art for me. And every time I talk on the radio, that's a performance. It might be 60 seconds long. It might be 90 seconds. But that's me off the top of my head, maybe with some liner information in front of me. But it's me trying to inform and entertain. That's the goal of what we try and do. No matter what the format, no matter what the music, even the talk shows, even the sports shows. People still listen to sports radio because that's live. It's real. I think music is going to get back to the real. I think there will be room for AI created stuff. I'm not saying it's going to go away, but I'm saying people are going to crave things that are created by humans. And radio is one of those things. There are a couple stations that have AI midday people, and they're doing a pretty good job interacting with people and everything, but it's a gimmick. It's a thing. AI will get better. But in the long run, AIs won't be able to be creative like humans can be creative. And even my night guy, with as little training as he has, is more creative than most AI is. You're going to hear, I am shocked at some of the things that come out of his mouth, not in a bad way. It's just like, okay, interesting, didn't expect that. The unexpected sells. There's a lot of things in the Deadpool movie, again, why it sells. They do things that you didn't expect them to do. The unexpected, the live and local, the real is what we'll be getting back to. And as I said, it happened with music in the 80s and into the 90s. It's going to happen with music and this AI stuff and everything. People want real stuff. And I think it's going to continue. So anyway, radio peeps, plan for it now. Get live and local. Be real. Get on the air and just talk about your town. Talk about what happened on the way into work or if the sun is out today. because I hear so many jocks around the world just doing the radio thing and not engaging their audience. I'm sorry, I'm driving home. I listen to somebody talking about the place where I live. Anyway, it's what we used to do and we got away from it. Those are my reasons why I think we'll be getting back to it in all things, not just radio. Scott, I'm ROCKFILE. Thanks for taking time out of your day to hear me babble. I promise there's more reviews coming. Next up, The Fall Guy. Have a spectacular day and thanks for listening.